Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Felix Cash returns after a very long break, and he defeats Celso Neves, who apparently is the Swiss middleweight champion. I don't know how many Swiss middleweights there are, but his record coming in was 9 wins, 2 defeats, only 2 knockouts on his win ledger, and he'd been stopped once in his 2 defeats. Look, quite clearly, Cash thought this was going to be a walkover. He was going to smash right through Neves, and it didn't happen. Now Neves, I don't know much about him at all, but he had been beaten in 2 rounds by Paddy McCrory. That was back in 2021. I think it was on the mid or late 2021. And after that, I looked on his box rec record, and I think he'd won a 6-rounder over a journeyman, and then he got a draw against another guy who had like an 8-6-3 resume, a draw with that guy. That was in May 2022. Now, this didn't bode well going in against Cash, because Cash, as we know, had looked pretty sort of impressive in the past, and does have a lot of talent, and is big for the weight. He's quite a big guy. But a few fights ago, he beat Denzel Bentley in only 3 rounds. I picked Bentley to win that fight. Not that it says anything, because I'm terrible at predictions, but the way in which Cash got rid of Bentley was really quite shocking. And Bentley just didn't seem to be there mentally at all. He was hanging back. Even when he was stopped on his feet, he was just standing there, letting Felix batter him. It was quite a shocking, strange performance, I thought. But Cash did it. He won that belt in 3 rounds. That was for the British and Commonwealth. I think in his next fight against Magomed Madaev, he won one of those WBC international belts that gets you a ranking, so I suppose it's right. So which brings us to Celso Neves. And in the first round, it looked pretty obvious to me that Cash was like, I'm going to get rid of this guy early. So he puts it on him. Cash looking very much the bigger fighter. He looks very big as a middleweight anyway. He battered Neves. Neves was having a look at him, but he didn't have to look very far, because Cash's fists were coming straight at him. And about 2.5 minutes in, Neves was shocked and stunned, I think, but buzzed. Not stunned to the point where his legs turned to rubber, but he was on the ropes, covered up, not really firing back that much. And Cash was putting it on him and using up a lot of energy. But at the end of about 20 seconds after the first round, Neves came back, and he landed a good right hand on Cash. It was a direct right hand, and then it followed up. I think he landed a left as well a couple of seconds afterwards, if I remember rightly. But second round, suddenly it all unravelled a little bit. For not shockingly, not to the point where there was any danger for Felix Cash. It's just that he had got into this slugging match with a guy he should really just been boxing. Box, stick the jab out, hang your hooks and your straights off your jab, and he wasn't doing that. He was getting into a proper row. And Neves loved this, and Neves started to come back into it, and most of the rounds were won by Cash, but there were little pockets where Neves was really going for it. He had that typical sort of African look where he tries to sort of feint his way in straight lines, not really use his feet to give angles, but it was working. It was working, and Cash wasn't really boxing to his standards. It's almost like he was boxing low, boxing down to Neves' standards. And Neves was game. Neves wanted it. He came to win, and he never stopped trying to win, not survive, win. So on the one hand, you can argue, well, that's 8 rounds of decent work. That's a very good rust shedder for Felix Cash. But when you consider the level, consider he got rid of Bentley in 3, and he has pretensions at world titles. It wasn't a very good performance. And I don't think it's, John Latham scored it 77-75, which I thought sounded a bit right in favour of Cash. He didn't look good in this fight, but there's an old saying, win this one and then look good next time round, and that's what Cash has got to do. After the fight, Ammo Williams, who commentated on the fight, and actually commentated very well on the fight with Andy Lee, Him and Cash exchanged words, and Cash ended up shoving Williams away. Obviously the blood was still flowing, still boiling a bit. And they have a proposed fight, which I'm looking forward to. Cash will definitely have to fight better against Williams than he did tonight. I expect him to fully. He is a talented guy, but he's got to be on it mentally, and take nothing for granted. He thought he'd get rid of Celso Neves very quickly, and he didn't, and he had awkward moments. Cash also had, I mean, from a very early point in the fight, he had blood coming out of his nose. I don't know if there was a cut sort of between his eyebrows, or, you know, round about there, or whether it was just blood that had splashed onto it, but yeah. Yeah, so did you see this fight? It was on DAZN. It was the one of the undercard fights for the Warrington fight. Not impressive, but he won. Now it's time to move on. Now it's time to really prove yourself, do some proper work. You've shed your rust. You've had 8 rounds. No excuse next time. You need to be on it mentally and physically. Leave your comments below if you've got any. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Build up the channel. Thank you very much. It's free. Takes a second. Bang that subscribe button. And I'll catch you again sometime soon. In the meantime, bye-bye for now.